The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome one and all. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV, to find out about our broadcast schedule on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net, and for our broadcast schedule on Simul TV on the X Zone TV channel, www.simultv.com. Well, it's that time of the month, X Zone Nation, when we bring back the one and only Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara, here on the show. And today, Ashley is going to be talking about a number of things. We're going to be talking about August magic, good luck, prosperity, health, wisdom, and the dog days. Joining me now from someplace hidden from view in the beautiful town of St. Catharines, Ontario, is our good friend, Lady Ashley. And Ashley, always great having you with us, my dear.
And thank you, as always, for having me.
So what's new in the world of geology before we get back to the X Zone part?
Oh, we did some fabulous collecting trips and just got some of the best stuff in the whole world, and got some beautiful marble, soapstone pelt. I even got a fake silver. I'm serious. It was so funny. I looked at this rock and I went, "You're not metallic, but you sure look like silver threads." And I just thought, I got to collect it just for the heck of it.
Oh, my gosh. And for those listeners who do not know what Ashley and I are talking about, Ashley is part of would it be a geological society?
Geology club, yeah.
Geology club in Niagara. And do you want to give our listeners their website? Come on.
It's NPGS, which stands for Niagara Peninsula Geological Society. Just look up NPGS. You'll find us.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. We pop up in the first 5-6 things.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Ashley. August. What can you tell us about August from the witch's point of view?
Well, as you said right at the very beginning, it's considered the month of good luck, prosperity, health, and wisdom. And for a number of reasons, because it's perceived somewhat differently in the northern hemisphere as compared to the Mediterranean hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. But all of the things that people have done in the month of August for thousands of years, all are to do with, do I have good luck here? Right. Am I going to have prosperity and thereby health? And have I made wise choices? And so therefore do I have wisdom? And that's why August is a very important month for that. And I know we're at the very, very end of August, but it starts, like for the Northern Hemisphere in particular, it starts with Lammas or Lunashwa, which are the bread festivals, because August is the when the first grains or the early grains start to ripen, and everybody starts making bread. And, of course, almost all of the lammas loaves are braided, and that's a common theme, is to braid. And that means that you're putting together that good luck, prosperity, health, and wisdom.
Oh, so that's what the braid signifies. So that's what the braid signifies, the good luck, prosperity, health, and wisdom. Yeah, cool.
And of course, but and even though it sounds like, people are going to say, this is witchcraft, this is Wicca, the harvest festivals in the northern hemisphere, and then essentially what are the coming of the rains or rivers flooding in the Mediterranean hemisphere, and then, oh, look at that, there's a star in the sky that we can use to navigate. And I am going to get back to that star in the sky that we navigate, and that one is in the southern hemisphere. But it is certainly in the northern hemisphere. It is the first harvest of all of the harvests. So you're getting your grains, your wheat, your corn, all kinds of vegetables, all kinds of berries, apples, grapes, and honey, because the bees are busy, or have been very, very busy. And of course, you start canning and drying and preserving and storing, so that it's going to help you get through the winter, and it sets you up. Now, one of my favorite things about August is that's when most of the salmon spawn. And that therefore becomes very, very important for the hunter-gatherer societies, which were before the agricultural societies. So the salmon start to spawn in August, and people are going, yummy fish. And of course, a lot of your wild crops ripen as well. So there was big gathering, prior to agriculture. Now, ancient Egypt, that's when the Nile floods. And of course, that's when all of the rains, happen further south. And the Nile just comes a-flooding, and it's that life-giving, black gold, silty waters that just created this huge bounty for people to plant. And, of course, that caused the rise of a great civilization, because I think, Egyptians are totally cool.
Oh, they are.
And basically, August heralded their new year and their planting, quote-unquote, spring season, even though practically no one in the northern hemisphere would ever go, August, spring, really?
That is true. And in fact, this morning when I went outside and had my coffee before I came to the offices, I could actually feel the fall in the air. There was that feeling that, all right, the seasons are going to start changing. Then when I went on my walk, I noticed that a number of the maple trees were starting to change color in the leaves. Like, where did summer go?
Oh, I thought it was a great summer. But yes, it's true. Summer is getting towards its end. And of course, just in the last couple of days, the Farmer's Almanac is threatening, or predicting a really, really cold winter this year. And if it's true, I am not looking forward to the winter.
Well, cold is one thing, but when it's laced with snow, and listen, the Niagara Peninsula can really get some bad storms.
Oh,
I remember them well.
True.
But, if it's cold, that's one thing. But if you get the snow that comes with it, and, you've got the lake effect between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, it will be pretty hard. In fact, I noticed earlier this summer, the squirrels around the house were already gathering their supplies for the winter. And I said, this can't be good.
Yep, and that's what they do in August. And in fact, on one of our rock collecting trips, we actually did see a very, very fat groundhog. And I'm just standing there looking at this groundhog, and I'm thinking, yeah, you're getting ready for winter, and it's like really nice and rotund, and it was chomping away, and its cheek pouches were filled, and of course you always see chipmunks.
Sure.
I mean, like their big blown up cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts that they've gathered, and they just stuff their cheeks to like the ends of the earth. They're just amazing, But I looked at that groundhog and I thought, wow, you are definitely representative of August.
All right.
It was so fat. It was just so beautifully fat.
The groundhog was munching, saying, "Oh, all right, Ashley, what do you have? What do you have in that bag? Come on, Ashley, I know you've got something good there."
Now, August isn't always perceived as the best month.
All right, what we're going to do, Ash, we have to take our break, so please stand by. We're going to do a bit of a cliffhanger here. Exo Nation, Lady Ashley is our special guest, and her email address is ashleysmagic@gmail.com. That's ashleysmagic@gmail.com. And Ashley and I will be back on the other side of this break, talking more about August magic, good luck, prosperity, health, and wisdom, and of course, the dog days of August. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. And you're listening to us around the world tonight on the Talkstar Radio Network, iHeartRadio, Mutual Broadcast Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, as well as on Simul Radio and Simul TV. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Exonation, our guest this hour is Lady Ashley. She is the White Witch of Niagara. Her email address is ashleysmagic@gmail.com. And Ashley, before we went to the break, we were talking about the exploits of your geological society, and this last time you and your fellow rock collectors were out there, you noticed this this rather robust groundhog. And we were also discussing how August is traditionally the time of animals that are starting to, gather their wares for the winter. And what else is August known for?
Well, August is also known, and this is for the ancient Greeks primarily, more so than Rome. Rome seemed to have a little bit more balanced view of August. But like Egypt, July and August in Greece is very, very dry, particularly August. And of course, so the ancient Greeks didn't exactly perceive August as the best month because you got this very hot and dry weather, which of course means drought. And then, of course, you've got lots of unsettled weather, intense thunderstorms, and we experienced certainly some very intense thunderstorms, here in Ontario.
That's right.
We may have been drought-ridden here, kind of, in St. Catharines, but a good portion of Ontario got hit. And then, of course, the Greeks also believed that humidity would make men weak. Well, not surprising, humidity sort of, we all go, can we just sit down?
Exactly.
But humidity arouses women, according to the ancient Greeks. And really, quite frankly, for all that I love the ancient Greeks for the many gifts that they gave us, they also didn't have too high an opinion of women. They were, I feel that they were overall pretty misogynistic. Of course, I'm now going to get totally trashed by many Greek people, sorry. But certainly they didn't think highly of August. Now, Rome was a little better because they were more balanced. But once the rain started, everybody, of course, started getting happy. And, of course, in ancient Greece, that's when you also planted, your crops that would go through the winter. But I talked earlier about the southern hemisphere, and this is when we get into the dog days of August. And, of course, that humidity, that unsettled weather, it's so dry, and is it going to rain? And when it does rain, it's very intense. But down in the southern hemisphere, and even in the northern hemisphere, that's when the dog star Sirius in the Canis Majoris constellation rises from out of the sun, because it's been kind of, hidden by the sun because the sun is much brighter. And by the way, Sirius is also the brightest star in the night sky.
So
which is kind of cool.
So the dog days are named after a constellation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And but it also goes along with that sultry hot. Those sultry hot days in August. And certainly in the southern hemisphere, they used it, particularly the ancient Polynesians, Maoris, and Oceania people. they used it as one of their navigation stars. And all you have to do is look at how far all those islands in the Pacific are apart from each other. And it is an absolutely amazing, as well as good luck, that these people were able to just sail across the Pacific, find all of these islands, and settle them. And it's just an absolutely amazing feat. So there was a lot of good luck, but at the same time there was also a lot of wisdom, because these guys, these ocean travelers, really knew how to read the stars. And even though that's their wintertime, therefore no sultry hot days, like we get in the north, it is just an amazing, tremendous feat that they did what they did. It's like inhabit all of those far-flung islands in the Pacific. But getting back to Europe and, northern Africa, of course, it was very hot and sultry in August, and the ancient Egypts also believed that Nile flooding was Isis' tears of sorrow for her dead husband Osiris, and as soon as basically Sirius showed up in the night sky, getting far enough away from the sun so that it could be seen, they also felt that was the birth date of their son Horus.
I still,
the falcon god.
I still can't get over how the Greeks really looked down at women. That is.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Women in ancient Greece had almost no rights at all. It was, in many ways, it was not so hot, And it's too bad because the Greeks were truly phenomenal about the gifts they gave us, the art, the sculpture, the temple building. Sure. The philosophy, even the wisdom in their mythology, and of course democracy, and but women were, looked upon very askance.
So let me ask you this, Ashley. You're a lady of the world. How do the muggy days of August affect you?
Well, I don't mind the humidity. Certainly I have a hand fan, so I always have, portable air conditioning with me. Certainly I think I'm like anybody else. If it's too humid, I go, oh, gosh, I'll be so glad when this humidity goes. But overall, I think I don't get too badly affected by it. Does it make me feel like the ancient Greeks, I'm all aroused? Well, I don't know. But, some women like humidity. They like that hot and sultry and let's face it, there's sultry fashion.
Yes, there are,
right? So, So it could be that it does arouse some women. It could be. But has there ever been a scientific study done? No. I don't think so.
I can just see the classified wanted women who are sultry or not to be tested about how humidity affects their libido.
Yes, yeah. That would probably be an interesting study, actually.
Well, there's food for thought, Ashley. Maybe we should conduct it in the pure nature of science. No way. Okay. It was just an idea. It was just an idea. So, just going back to the Farmer's Almanac, are they predicting just a cold winter or a winter accompanied with a lot of snow?
I think, I have to admit, I read the article a couple of days ago, so it's semi-gone out of my head. Certainly very, very cold, and somebody is going to get more snow than usual. I don't think here in Ontario, I think it's if I'm remembering correctly, I think the East Coast is going to get a lot more snow than usual.
Well, every year,
That's what I'm remembering.
No matter how bad the winter is in Ontario, there's very little snow around Queen's Park, and there's very little snow around Parliament Hill because of all the hot air.
Ha ha! Good joke.
I thought so. How do Wiccans and witches prepare for the upcoming event? Get ready for winter.
Well, certainly the harvesting, and because I think a lot because we're so nature conscious. Yeah, we're doing some kind of harvesting, some kind of gardening throughout the year. The other part of it is things like canning and drying. Like certainly I like to can in August and September. Do I have a garden big enough to produce that? No, so I have to go to the store. But I usually go to, the local market. Mm-hmm. And but another thing that's also funny, cool about August is, of course, being a number of grains are ripening in August and grapes are ripening in August. Of course, that's perfect time to make beer and other alcohols and wine. And so very often when you're doing any kind of celebration in August, whether it's, the beginning where you're doing Lammas or you're doing the full moon or you're doing the quarters, you're going to raise your arm.
All right, Ashley, stand by.
You're going to take a sip of something.
Sure, Ashley, stand by. We've got to take our news break. X-Zone Nation, Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara is on the line tonight with us from her home in St. Catharines, Ontario. Her email address is ashleysmagic@gmail.com, and Ashley and I will be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Den.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Welcome back, everyone. Lady Ashley is our special guest tonight here on the X Zone this hour. And if you'd like to send Lady Ashley an email, it's ashleysmagic@gmail.com. That's ashleysmagic@gmail.com. That's ASHLEYSS magic@gmail.com. Ashley, we were talking about the Sirius myths. Are they only found in the Greek culture or the Egyptian culture, or does Sirius play in other nations or in other continents around the world?
Interestingly enough, the Sirius is well named as the dog star because practically every ancient civilization, every ancient culture related the star to some kind of dog or a wolf. I mean, certainly in China, Sirius is known as the celestial or the heavenly wolf star, and it's in the giant dog constellation. And one of the really cool things about Sirius is, and here we got some more negativity, and because Sirius is a very bright white star, but it's also known for color changes and for rainbow effects. And certainly the ancient Chinese said that, like if it had something like a red halo in this color change, then that could mean disturbance or war. And so when you relate that then to, a lot of ancient mythologies, the dog star was also, not only was it keyed into, crops harvesting, it also was keyed into, this might be wartime as well. And then if you, if the star went, with the rainbow thing, if it had lots of red horns, again, that could mean invasion. If they were white horns, it could mean wailing and weeping, which, I mean, so in other words, accidents or runctions or disturbances, and stuff like that. So I can't just say that the ancient Greeks had negative aspects. The ancient Chinese did as well, but that was when Sirius changed colors. Other than that, it was the celestial wolf for China, and certainly the Americas, practically, I won't say all of the American First Nations, but a lot of them, it was like, it's a dog that follows mountain sheep, or it's the wolf star, or the coyote star. Now, interestingly, with the coyote star, because the coyote is often considered a trickster god, particularly in the North American mythologies. But even the Alaskan Inuit consider Sirius the moon dog, which I think is totally cool. And then the Hopi, who just have some amazing prophecies. They say that when the blue star Kachina, or Sirius, makes its appearance in the heavens, in other words, saying that Sirius will be blue, then the fifth world will emerge. And apparently it's a seemingly better world, and it's also the last world. And that, of course, ties into the Maya. Now, the Maya didn't actually have dog gods associated with harvest, but they did believe that people were made from corn, and their goddess, and I don't know if I pronounced this correctly, Chico-Mecotl, she was the goddess of corn, and Sentiotl, he was the god of corn. So they had a god and a goddess. And in fact, many of the ancient mythologies did, is that though the corn, grain, harvest, agriculture, fruit goddesses were a much bigger deal than the gods were, such as Isis and Demeter and Parvati. You know, I mean, these are like really important goddess ladies. But the gods weren't shy either, you know, because we had Osiris, we had Dionysus and Bacchus, you know, the wine gods, and then Serenus, and then, of course, Lugh, who was, they were both, Serenus and Luke were Celtic gods, you know. So though many of the goddesses and goddesses weren't related or had a relationship with dogs, they often had some form of relationship with Sirius, the dog star.
Why would the Mayas or whoever it was think that humans were created from corn? Is that because corn was the staple crop for them, and without corn we could not humanity could not exist?
That's right.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you look at ancient mythology, it's really quite interesting. Like, I mean, some of the myths, when you read them, you go, what? What are you saying? Yeah. But some of them are often very, very clever as to how they explain things. Probably one of my favorites is one with Demeter and her daughter Persephone. And, of course, when Persephone was kidnapped or raped by Hades and taken down into the underworld, Demeter just stopped doing what she normally did, and it's like nothing grew, everybody was starving to death, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And so the Olympic gods, they stepped in and said, so Hades, come on, you know, like, we got to solve this problem. And so, though not all Greek mythologies agree with this, basically Persephone had to stay down in the underworld for 4 months, equivalent to the 4 months of winter, and then came up back to her mother for 8 months, which is basically your growing season, growing and harvest season.
So
you know, but it explained, you know, hey, we got winter, and then we've got spring and summer and fall.
They had a much simpler way of looking at things back then.
Pretty amazing what the myths do.
But in one respect, it was a lot simpler back then to understand. It seems as we have progressed, instead of making things a lot easier, we have complicated the hell out of most things. And when you look at the ancients and how they related the stars to animals, everything around them had a reason, had a rhyme, and it played not only part of their religious beliefs, but also their sociological beliefs as well.
Yeah, and have we complicated? I'm not going to disagree with you, but sometimes I think it's also a case of we've forgotten
Right.
things, is that I don't think we're in rhythm anymore. And is it the Industrial Revolution and, the rise of the fossil fuels? I'm not sure. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who say, we've got to get back to the earth. Well, I don't want to give up some of the modern good things.
Sure.
Okay. So I think what it is that we have to find a balance, and because the Industrial Revolution happened so quickly, and then, followed very, very quickly by the oil and gas and coal industries, and then, of course, our modern technology, I just don't think we've caught up, and we haven't found that balance. So in some ways, complicated, yes, but I think it's more a case of forgetfulness as we've lost that rhythm. And I think that and I'm hoping that as the age of Aquarius dawns, that we will then get back that rhythm. Now, of course, I'm sure that there's a lot of people saying, well, you're very optimistic, Miss Full of Hope. And maybe I am. But
what's wrong with that?
The Hopi myth about, when the blue star Kachina arises, is that fifth world the age of Aquarius? And will we get better and therefore heal ourselves and heal our planet?
Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being hopeful. In fact, it's the people like you who spread the hopefulness, who are making a positive difference in this world. There's too much negativity. And I agree with you, Ash, that we have to look back in time to see what worked and what didn't work. And we need to learn more from our past mistakes, as well as learn from what has been right for us and implement that into the world today. Ashley, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. And Exonation, if you'd like to send Ashley an email, her email address is ashleysmagic@gmail.com. That's ASHLEYSSMAGIC@gmail.com. And Ashley and I will return as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. X-Zone Nation, the one and only Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara, is our very special guest this hour. Ashley joins us at least once a month. And if you'd like to send Ashley an email, if you have questions, or if you'd just like to suggest topics that Ashley might do here on the show for you, her email address is ashleysmagic@gmail.com. That's ASHLEYSSMAGIC @gmail.com. First of all, Ashley, so great having you with us each and every month. I look forward to our chats. I miss the old times when you used to come down to the studios at 610 CKTB and join us. But it's great having you back here with us where you belong here in the X-Zone family.
Thank you.
So, Ashley, as a white witch, when it comes to, if my memory serves me correct, you and I once discussed the myth or the connotation of how or why witches apparently flied, and it had a lot to do, if I'm not mistaken, with the corn stalks.
Well, yeah, because but it was also wheat sheaves, because and because it was brooms more than anything, and certainly corn stalks were used as corn came over to Northern Europe. Once the New World was discovered. Because basically up until that point, there was no such thing as corn, despite the word corn being used in the vernacular. Corn, as in maize from the New World, didn't happen until the New World was rediscovered. And so what that was it was believed that helped you fly. But really what helped witches or made witches believe that they flew was generally some kind of psychedelic, and usually mushroom, because that was quite commonly found in Northern Europe. There's a number of different things, but there's also ergot, which is a disease of rye, and ergot can certainly create more health problems, along with whereas your mushrooms don't tend to, and but it was they had this illusion or hallucination that they actually flew. But did they? No, they didn't. We're not that clever yet.
and the key word there being yet.
Yet, yes, and that is a key word, because I think that as paranormal abilities get studied without the hysteria that seems to surround pseudoscience. And I'm not going to deny that there's lots of stuff that is pseudoscience. It is. But we have seen over the years, over the centuries, what once was considered a pseudoscience is no longer. It, in fact, is considered a valid science. I just don't think we have the ability to understand, we don't have the technology to measure how the paranormal works yet. And I'd like to see it. I'd like to see, understand it more. But can people have paranormal abilities? Yeah, I do. And when you look at some of the Marvel Comics stuff, I think people would love other people to have, because let's face it, all those superheroes have paranormal abilities. They can fly, they can, control situations, they can throw fire. And one of my favorites from the Fantastic Four is the elastic guy. I can't remember his name right now. But he stretches, and there are always, in every person's life at one point or another, we all wanted to have that ability to be able to stretch and get something, right? We've all wanted that. And talking about modern things, of course, Harry Potter, and I mean, I've always considered Rowling brilliant with the way she, not only just the story alone, in that it is good versus evil and good wins out in the end. She was, I thought, just brilliant the way that she coupled things together. And of course, Sirius Black, who is considered a big bad guy at first, and then everybody realizes, no, he's like one of the best good guys in the whole world. He turns into a big black dog.
Really?
Sirius Black. So he's a, Sirius dog star, black. And I just thought that was one of the more brilliant things that Rowling did in her books. I think she's really brilliant. I really like the whole concept behind Harry Potter, about that, that impetus to I need to do good in this world, and I need to defeat evil, even if it's a little good defeating a little evil.
Ashley, why do you think so many people are into the vampire cult these days? The Walking Dead has a phenomenal following.
True.
Any idea on why?
Well, I think part of it is that desire, the desire to have those paranormal abilities.
I see.
Because certainly, in Dracula, in the original book of Dracula, that was pretty paranormal. Dracula could do some pretty phenomenal things, and so a big part behind the vampire cult is that they're seeing it as I am empowered. But it's also a form of rebellion, and a lot of us do want to rebel, because, just going back to, we seem to have lost touch with the rhythm of things. Right. This could be is that, if I am more earthbound, because in many ways Dracula is earthbound. He is the dead, therefore he belongs in the earth, because when we die, we go back to the earth, and we get recycled back into nature. So he's very much an earth figure, and it's a way of, I have to ground myself, but I also have to rebel, because I have to say how dissatisfied I am with the normal things of every day. And it's like I'm, well, no, I can't say it any better than what I've just said it. Sorry.
Sure. No, I understand, but it seems that everything in life is a cycle. You and I talked earlier today about the 4 seasons, and now with our own mortality, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and we get recycled. It's like Mother Nature is giving us all the answers, but we as humans are too naive to actually understand the messages that she's giving us. And when it comes to the paranormal and the investigation thereof, is it possible that we are not looking in the right direction, that to use technology to investigate the paranormal, we have to get out of the realm of science that we know and actually look at new areas as well as new technology?
Yes, absolutely. I do think that. But there is also this, maybe it's not so much hysteria, though I consider it hysteria, but it's that immediate, the shutters go up and it's, I'm not going to listen to you because I think this is all, a bunch of malarkey, right, and blah, 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 and you're an idiot and blah, 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 blah. And people get very angry and very impassioned about denial of it. And so I think that needs to be calmed down in many ways. Certainly, the stuff that they did in parapsychology back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, when you look at the stuff that they did, though there was definitely issues and problems with a lot of what they did, and of course, a lot of the conclusions that they came to got trashed. There at least was no hysteria, or very little hysteria involved in parapsychology, and it wasn't really considered a pseudoscience. It was considered, this is a good way to look at this scientifically, and let's see if there is something there.
Well, Lady Ashley, I hate to do this to you, my dear, but you and I have to say so long for tonight. You're going to be back within the next month or so. And yes. Always great talking to you. Do me a favor, take care of yourself, and you'll never know how happy everyone here in the X-Zone, as well as the X-Zone Nation, is to have you back where you belong, here on the X-Zone.
Thank you.
You take care of yourself, my dear friend. And X-Zone Nation, if you'd like to contact Lady Ashley, her email address is ashleysmagic@gmail.com. That's ASHLEYSS magic@gmail.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.